What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is pretty exciting for me. About a week ago, I pulled my truck into the shop with my MR2's new engine. What I got here is a 2GR. It's out of a 2015 Sienna, so it's a minivan engine. And this is just a pretty big milestone because I've been accumulating parts for a little bit now to do the swap on this car. And one of the last things I told myself I would buy is the engine. The reason for that is just the warranty. So like a lot of places will have, let's just say 30, 60, whatever, 90-day warranty. So my thought process is that if I bought this last and then something goes wrong with it, I can hopefully get it, replaced under warranty. This is from a junkyard after all. So even though I did my homework to the best of my ability, I got the VIN from this to kind of try to get some history on it. I made sure it was compression tested. You'll notice that the valve covers are actually relatively clean. They're not perfect. Here's a picture of how they looked when I first got the engine, and they obviously look a lot cleaner. The reason for that is I took these off just so I can look at the camshafts and everything like that. I wanted to check to see if there's like any visible scoring, chips, or just something that would scream to me like, hey, this is a bad engine and I need to go trade it back in. Everything on this checked out, so pretty stoked there. It's still not 100% like that nothing is gonna go wrong, but I feel pretty good about my odds. There's still a lot of work left to do to this, so I do have to reseal everything. I'm gonna do things like new water pump. Gonna go ahead and replace the pulley. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but that definitely has some play in it. So gonna replace that stuff. Need to get alternator. I'll be running AC. The engine I got has a oil cooler on it. I thought I'd be able to run it, but I made a mistake and didn't realize that the exhaust setup I have will end up coming in contact here. So I'm gonna have to get rid of this, which sucks. I'll end up getting a block off plate, and this could be an area where I end up running like an oil temp sensor or something like that. So I'll still make use of it. Now onto the parts. We got a bunch of stuff here. Pretty much everything to make this swap plug and play in this chassis. These are fuel lines from Wilhelm Raceworks, part of the intake. One of the cool things I did end up getting was this expansion tank. This piece is actually pretty cool, and my plan was to use it on this car here, but my plans have changed a little bit. This will end up going on the other MR2 over there, and this is the OEM water neck. I'm gonna send this in to get modified so I could use it for this application. My car will see the occasional track day, so I went ahead and got the Wilhelm Raceworks baffle as well. Over here we have AC lines. This is a V-band clamp. The coolant hoses. One of the things I decided to try was actually the Clutch Master's clutch and flywheel for this application. I've never tried any of the Clutch Master stuff, so I'm really excited to see if I like it or not. This is the Y-pipe from TCS, and then this is actually the Burke adapter for it. I'll be running the Burke exhaust on the white MR2, and then that exhaust will end up going to the V6 MR2 because the one that's currently on there is a little janky. Actually, let me show you guys this. If you ever see this car in person, you're gonna hear a slight rattle, and it's because of this. The exhaust was meant to only be there for a year, and it's been on for a couple years, so we're gonna end up getting rid of that as the point. And over here in this box, we got more good stuff. So we have, let's see, air filter. This is actually the Frankenstein Motorworks ECU that he sells. This is the passenger side engine mount. This is actually new old stock. So when Frankenstein Motorworks first started supporting this swap in the MR2, this is the mount that he sold. Got it for a really good deal, so it's definitely the right price. We got the headers over here. There is other stuff. So like in this wrap is the drive-by-wire sensor along with the rod. I have to install the pedal. Here's the MAF pipe. There's the other header. And then there's some other miscellaneous stuff in here that stuff to dig through and figure out what's what. I pretty much got everything to complete the swap besides a few little things. So I am waiting on some gaskets to reseal this engine up. Those should be here in the next couple days. I totally spaced buying a fuel pump. This is an NA chassis, so I have to put in an upgraded fuel pump. The last major thing I need for the swap is the wiring harness. And the engine that I got did come with one. This wiring harness was actually in pretty good shape. The worst of it was here. A couple of the connectors for the coil packs were broken, but I think that should be easy enough to fix. There's no major cuts or anything like that. It's super common when they're removing these at the junkyard that they'll literally just cut the harness and pull the whole thing out. And you'll see little things like this, but that's actually the sensor side though. So if I unplug this, the connector here on the harness is still good. I'll probably end up reselling this. And the reason for that is after looking at all my options, I realized that I could get a custom harness built for this car to do the swap, and the price differential is only like $100. And I'm like, you know what, at that price, I would much rather just have a brand spanking new harness made. So that's the route I've decided to go. And I was told I should have it maybe early November. And so that's probably gonna be the biggest holdup on getting this whole process done. But in the meantime, I can still do everything else, prep the engine, connect it to the transmission, which I'm gonna be reusing the S54 transmission on this car. And the reason for that really just comes down to money. At the end of the day, I do have limited resources. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start with the S54 transmission that served me well for a couple years now. And then once I have the money together to do the E351, which if things go how I'm thinking, my plan would be this car's up and running by like January of 2025. And then the following year or the following winter, that's when I'll be able to swap out the transmission. So that way I'm able to use my car in the meantime. I do have some concerns about how long the S54 will last, but I think it should be fine for just the occasional autocross and track day. As long as I'm not like launching it super hard, I think it'll hold up to the abuse. Well, that's pretty much all I got for this video. I just wanted to give a quick little update because I pulled the engine on this car. I think it was like February of 2024, and there just hasn't been any progress made because, well, I didn't have the parts. I got the parts, so now we're gonna be able to move forward. As of right now, my plan is that the next video I post on this project will be prepping the engine to swap it into the chassis. Really looking forward to that one, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.